Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the RockyMounts AfterParty hitch-mounted bike rack and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2016 Toyota Tundra. Now when it comes to carrying a bike with your truck, there's a ton of different options out there, and a lot of people do opt for tailgate pads, but there might be a variety of reasons you want to stay away from that. If you've got a tonneau cover that you want to keep closed, or the bed's just full of stuff, a hitch-mounted bike rack can be a great place to go next. And especially something like this, the RockyMounts AfterParty. It's going to be a great option for trucks because it has a whole swing-away arm that allows full tailgate access, plus it still works with a wide range of bikes, sporting a 60-pound weight capacity per bike, so it's good for e-bikes, and no frame contact, so great for carbon frame and alternative frame. So let's get straight into that swing-away. To do that, there's going to be a blue hand knob underneath the rack that we can turn to unthread a bolt that's securing this in. And once that bolt is fully unthreaded, there's going to be a pin to the right of it. Lift that pin up and start to swing the rack out. As you go, that pin will relock and a middle one will latch in to keep it from hitting your truck. And in this state, it's fully locked in and you have full access to your truck bed, allowing you to open up the tailgate, get things in and out, or just have a place to sit down and change your shoes before or after your ride. I've used this bike rack a lot with my own truck, and this is exactly how I use it. Having a place to just sit down after my ride and chill out before I get going. Folding the rack back in, it's just the same process in reverse with the pins and that hand knob. And if you're thinking to yourself that you don't want to go through that whole process every time you need access to your truck bed, that's okay. There's a blue handle underneath the back of the rack that we can pull to release the tilting mechanism. And it's got a pretty aggressive tilt. I mean, you'll have to watch out for handlebars in your head as you let that down, but the nice thing about it is it actually works with your Tundra really well. It comes a little close at the base of the rack there, but there's plenty of room to fully let that down. So again, if we need to get something in or out of the bed, maybe we're going to the grocery store and want to load up our stuff, you can. And you don't have to worry about a cramped parking lot or just taking the time to fully swing it away. So I know I mentioned that this bike rack doesn't make any frame contact, and the way it's actually holding it down is by both tires. This dual wheel mount style will use these hoops to clamp down on the tires, and that's going to be adjustable for different size tires too. Now to release it, we can come down to the base of the rack where we can see these blue levers. Press that down to break the tension and flip it up to fully disengage the ratcheting mechanism on both sides. Once you've done that, you can just push the arms away and they might get caught up on the tread of the tire, but overall, they're very easy to operate. You can push them out as far as you need to and just lift that bike up and away. Now with the bike unloaded, we can get a better look at some things like measurements. The first of which we'll check out is ground clearance. You've probably already noticed by now that we've got a ton of it. And at the back end, the lowest point to the ground is the handle here. We've got 29 inches of clearance. So while you won't have to worry about bottoming out, you will have to think about that with lifting because that is quite a bit of lift for maybe a heavier e-bike. Not as bad as something like a tailgate pad, but still something to be mindful of. And for the length that we're adding to the back of our truck, going from the furthest point out to the back of the rack, it's going to be 31 inches. So not too bad for a 2-bike rack, that's pretty on par. And we can always save space when it's not in use by folding it up using that handle we used to tilt it away. Cutting that length down now to only 16.5 inches. Making this a lot more compact and easier to park with and drive around with if we choose to leave it in the hitch between rides. With it folded like this, there are a few clearance things to keep in mind. Our license plate is going to be pretty much completely blocked, and our backup sensors that are on our bumper are also going to be very close to the rack. So whenever we throw the truck into reverse, you're probably going to hear a lot of beeping. It's just something to be aware of. Our backup camera is pretty good here. You'll definitely see the rack, but it's not going to fully block the backup camera, which is good. And our taillights are fully visible, so that's a plus too. At the bottom, this is going to be fitting with our 2" by 2" receiver tube. and comes with a locking anti-rattle bolt. That anti-rattle will keep things solid and secure in the hitch, and that lock will keep people from messing with it when you're not around. And that's about all there is to it for the RockyMounts AfterParty. It's a personal favorite of mine and a really solid bike rack because it works with so many different bikes and has a lot of features. But it's also going to be a great fit for the Tundra, allowing you full bed access with the swing away arm, but also full clearance with the tailgate when we just tilt it away. So it makes it very easy to use and interacts well. So that's going to be a great fit for the 2016 Toyota Tundra. Thanks for watching.